Hello my dear friends, I am Prashant Mavani and I warmly welcome all of you to StudyIQ. I hope you all are doing good. The topic that we are going to discuss today in detail is Mahadayi river dispute that is going on between Karnataka and Goa as we are speaking. Things are a bit okay now. We haven't seen sort of violence, but there are bunds, right? Some of the cities have come to a choke hold. Now the thing is that this is not the only river dispute that is going on in our country. I'm sure you guys preparing for competitive exams, it would be a big headache for you as well. I do understand that you have to remember so many different river disputes that are going on, isn't it? But the thing is that we have to find some sorts of solution when it comes to this sort of river disputes, because the way things are going on in our country, the way things are going on all across the world, it is very important for us to find or to sort out this sort of disputes as soon as possible, because of what we see, the things that are going on at present, particularly in Karnataka. We have witnessed sort of bunds and all these things are going on, and government is under pressure at present. Of course, Maharashtra government, Goa government, Karnataka government and central government as well. Anyways, by the end of this lecture, once we will go through all the details that are associated with this Mahadayi river dispute, at the end I would like to discuss with all of you some solutions that I think may work, right? This sort of solutions, they are going to be a bit out of box. They are not conventional solutions. We are going to touch some of the things, which I believe if we don't change those sort of things, then we are never going to see end of this sort of disputes. Anyways, so let's crack on. And before that, I would like to inform all of you that at present up to 40% discount is available on our pen drive and tablet courses. This is going to last till 27th January 2018, right? So make sure you make the most out of it. To know more about it, just check studyiq.com. Now dear friends, you all are mature, you understand one basic thing, right? One of the most basic necessity for us to survive on this planet, of course, is water, access to fresh water. If you go back to the history as well, then you find that always, right, always, for all creatures all across the board, right, you can ignore reptiles in it, but of course for us human beings, right, to survive, we need access to water. Now the thing is that this sort of disputes have always been there, and they are going to continue, sadly, because the steps taken by our government or steps taken by India, and not only India, most of the countries around the world, the steps taken are not holistic, or the approach that we are taking is not holistic when it comes to water management. Anyways, global warming is going on, right? We know that 2017 is one of the hottest year. 2016 was hottest year, and at present we are in 2018, and it is believed that this is also going to break some records. Very sad to hear this sort of news. And we also see this sort of civil war sort of situation in a democratic setup, so which is very bad. And the river, of course, this river has many different names. It is also known as Mahadayi, it is also known as Mandovi. So today I'm going to use this word Mandovi because it is a bit easier to speak Mandovi for me than this Mahadayi or other rivers. Anyways, I hope you don't mind this. In different states, right, in Karnataka is known as Mahadayi, in Goa it is known as Mandovi. Now the thing is, before we crack on to this river, please allow me to explain the situation, or you can share the share of water that we have on our blue planet. Out of the total 100% that we have, 96%, 96.5 to be precise, and if you add other saline water, say for example 1%, then roughly you have 97%, right? 97.8% what we have is saline water, which is of no direct use apart from transportation. Then you have this fresh water share, which is 2.5%, and then you see different division. You have 68% of this 2.5 is glaciers and ice caps and things like that. Then you have atmosphere water and everything. So if you see river, then river makes a very tiny part of this 2.5%. In fact, we call our planet blue planet because 70% of our planet is covered by water. But you know the situation now, right? That out of this 70%, only 2.5 is fresh water, and out of that 2.5 as well, rivers make just, you would be surprised to know this fact, that rivers make up just 0.0001%, right? 0.0001 out of all the water that we have in this world. So if we are thinking, or if we are in a sort of you can say confusion that we have all the waters of the world available, no, that is not right. We don't have that much water in our rivers, and on top of that we have also polluted our rivers, particularly in India, right? If you see, then if you go through the map of different rivers and their pollution level, then you will feel very sad that you won't find even one single river that you can say that is at present completely unpolluted, that is completely virgin. There was a river called Siang. There is in fact a river Siang, which we also call it Dihang. That river, or that stretch of Siang or Dihang, was the most virgin, the most purest that we can have, right? Some of the best waters in the world was there, but that one is also polluted at present. You see muddy water in that Siang. So this is the situation of our country, and it's not just limited to India. This is going on all across the board around the world. But today we are going to stick with our country India when we are discussing our rivers, and particularly this Mahadayi river. Now let's locate where this river exactly is, right? You find that it is originating from Western Ghats. Now this is basically your Western Ghats. It is a sort of mountain range on the western side of our country, right? It basically passes through 6 different states. One is Goa, Maharashtra, then you have Goa, Gujarat. These are your 3 states, and then you have Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So these are 6 states through which you find this Western Ghat. Now this river originates from here, this part, right? This is your Goa and this is Karnataka, and let me show you a zoomed map. This is the origination point of this Mandovi river in Karnataka, and from Karnataka it flows on the western side and it enters Goa, and finally, right, it merges with this Arabian Sea here in the city of Panji. Now, as we are talking about this Western Ghat, and Western Ghat is one of the most important topic for you for any different exams, right? It is one of the most important topics. So let me throw some light on it. It is known as hottest biodiversity hotspot of the world, right? It is the 8th biodiversity hotspot of the world, and you see the range of species that you find. And if you are following newspapers on regular basis, then you would be aware about this thing, that you find here and there new species, right, of reptiles and fish and other things you find discovered in our country. Most of them are coming from this Western Ghat. The other thing is that, dear friends, Maharashtra as well is involved with this Mahadayi river, but you have some small streams being generated from this Mandovi river. So of course it is part of this negotiation, and Maharashtra is also a party or a stakeholder. But the problem that we are talking about, or the problem that we are seeing at present, is pertaining to just Goa and Karnataka, right? These are the 2 states which are at each other's throat. So basically 3 states, Maharashtra, Goa and Karnataka. At present we are talking about these 2 states. Now different sources have different sort of facts pertaining to this river, but if we take the source of the Hindu newspaper, then the stretch or the length of this river is 80.8 kilometer, out of which 52 kilometer flows in Goa and 28.8 is in Karnataka. This is a rain-fed river, and this is something that you find, or this is a sort of common category of rivers in the southern or peninsular India, right? Himalayan rivers, they do have water throughout the year, but the southern rivers or peninsular rivers, right, they are rain-fed. So during monsoon time they would be at their peak, but as we approach winter and in summertime, you will see some sort of dry, and you can in fact drive as well in the riverbed. So this is the situation. So basically you are going to, if you are living somewhere around this seasonal rivers, right, or this rain-fed river, then you are going to see fluctuation in its water. Now the thing is, this problem that we are seeing at present, it has a timeline, it has a history, and all this sort of issues, right, pertaining to this Mandovi River started back in 1980s. It took birth in 1980, and subsequently, in subsequent decades, it got stronger, or you can say the problem exacerbated. In 1985, in fact, the central government started negotiations, right? Central government became a party, and this is how things are sorted out. If two states, or if more than two states are having some sort of river dispute going on between them, then they will knock the doors of central government, and then central government will become a sort of you can say a middleman sort of role. It will be played by central government, and then negotiations will go on. The only problem is in our country that this sort of negotiations do go on for a very long period of time. And back in 1989, there was a Rane-Bommai pact between Goa and Karnataka. Now, S.R. Bommai, I'm sure you might have heard about S.R. Bommai. A very famous case of Supreme Court is associated with S.R. Bommai. But anyways, we are not discussing those sort of things today. S.R. Bommai was CM of Karnataka at that point of time in 1989. And Pratap Singh Rane was Chief Minister of Goa. So they had a pact, or you can say a MOU between them, that they would share the water of this Mandovi River between them, water usage and irrigation, and for other things. Karnataka, as you can see, Karnataka is a state from where it is originating. So Karnataka basically said that we should be allowed, and as per this 1989's Rane-Bommai Pact, both the states were happy to share water with each other. But later on, very sadly, this S.R. Bommai government collapsed in Karnataka, and later on this Goa as well refused to endorse this MOU. So again, things were back to, you can say, the troubles were back to their origination point. And later on, you have this new Chief Minister of Karnataka, S.M. Krishna, and he took the initiative to implement this Kalasa Banduri project. Now, this is your Kalasa Banduri project. As you can see, this is your Mandovi River. This is Karnataka's portion, and these are the two projects which S.M. Krishna started. And what these projects are all about, basically, you diversify the water of this Mandovi River, and you channelize it or add it to this Malaprabha River. Malaprabha River is a tributary river of Krishna River, right? Krishna is a very big river of our peninsular India. So the stand of Karnataka at present and at that point of time was or is that Karnataka wants 7.56 TMC feet water, and it is basically arguing that 4 districts of Karnataka, right, they face this water scarcity most of the time in a year. So by diversifying, or by, you can say, by adding this Mandovi River's water in this Malaprabha River, will allow or will basically distribute this water, or you can transport this water or supply this water to all these 4 districts of Karnataka. So this were the 2 projects, Banduri and Kalasa. Now, of course, things are not that easy. If things were sorted out with the help of this project, then of course we won't be discussing this issue, isn't it? But back in 2001, Karnataka sought permission from the center to divert this water. 2002, center gives a permission as well in principal clearance, but then Goa starts objecting it, and finally the central government says a big no to Karnataka, that we cannot give you permission, when Goa is opposing this move very aggressively, right? Of course, it is being a bit aggressive because Goa has its own concern when it comes to this river. We will talk about it, but let's go through the timeline first. In 2006, Goa files petition in Supreme Court, and it basically Goa prayed for a stay on the project. Then in 2010, right, these are the milestones that we are talking about. Let me tell you, you don't have to go to small details like what happened in 2nd December 2002. You don't have to know about what happened on the 1st January 2006 pertaining to this case, right? You find many different updates, but here we are discussing just the milestone, the big things that took place, right? So Goa files a petition in Supreme Court, and in 2010 center constitutes a tribunal headed by Justice J.M. Panchal, of course, to sort out this interstate river dispute. Now, I have to talk with you guys. I have to give you a sort of background theory of how this sort of tribunals, how it works basically. But before that, let me tell you what took place in 2016. This tribunal, right, this J.M. Panchal tribunal, in its interim order rejected Karnataka's plea of creating this two projects, and the reason that was cited by this commission or this tribunal was that ecological damage may take place because of this project. Now, this is the only reason, this is one of the main reasons why we discussed this this Western Ghat, because it is very important for us to look after our environment as well, because Western Ghat are a sort of lungs, right? They provide a green cover to our country, and as you can see on your screen, 7,400 species of flowering plants and 1,814 species of non-flowering plants and 139 mammal species. You have tigers and leopards and panthers and you name it, you find it here. You have 179 amphibian species and 6,000 insect species, and there are so many, right, about which we still don't know anything. So we cannot take a risk of damaging this ecological balance, a fine ecological balance that is there here in Western Ghat. So this was the stand of this tribunal back in 2016. What is its stand at present? Of course, we are going to talk about it, but before that, let me give you a background theory of how these tribunals work. Now, basically, we have an act in our country. It is known as Interstate Water Disputes Act of 1956, and this is the one, as the name indicates, it looks after all these disputes that you have between two or more states. Now, this act was amended back in 2002, and there was a commission called Sarkaria Commission, which provided or came up with its own recommendations. And one of the most important recommendation of Sarkaria Commission was that whenever you find this sort of disputes going on, then within 1 year you should set up a water dispute tribunal. First step, or one of the most important thing. And the other thing is that within 3 years, so say for example on the 1st January 2018, if you set up this tribunal, then the next 3 years, within next 3 years, you have to arrive at a decision. That means this commission has to work on regular basis. Now, when a state government makes a request in relation to a water dispute, and if the central government, as I told you, that central government plays a sort of a negotiator's role, but if central government is not able to sort out things between two states or two or more states, then this water dispute tribunal is formed, and under the present act, right, a separate tribunal has been established, or you have to establish a sort of different or separate tribunal for all different water disputes that are going on in our country. This is the reason why you feel a bit of headache, because you have to remember so many different tribunals, isn't it? Now, coming back to this tribunal, CM Panchal's tribunal, the decision, the final hearing is going to take place in February 2018. So at present, we are very close to this decision, but things are getting bit, you can say, the wheel is in motion at present, and you know, election are just around the corner in Karnataka. So this is going to be a big political issue too. With this, dear friends, some amendments, or you can say a bill, not amendment, actual amendments have not taken place yet, but a bill was placed in Lok Sabha by our Water Minister Uma Bharti in 2017, and this is known as Interstate River Water Disputes Amendment Bill 2017. Now, this bill is very interesting. It is talking about single standing tribunal, right? Good for competitive exam aspirants, that there will be one single standing tribunal, and it will have multiple benches. So a rough example would be you have one Supreme Court, and then you can have different benches. So something similar, right? Instead of multiple tribunals, we are going to have one standing tribunal and multiple benches under it. The time period, the total time period is going to be 4.5 years, and the decision of the tribunal shall be final and binding with no requirement of publication in the official gazette. Members, you have 8 in total, right? You have one chairman, one vice chairman, 6 other members, and these bits are not that important, but very quickly, the tenure of the chairperson is going to be for 5 years and till they attain the age of 70, whichever is earlier. And one more interesting thing is it talks about this dispute resolution committee, this DRC. What this DRC is all about: before you knock the doors off or before your case is transferred to this tribunal, there will be a dispute resolution committee. It will hear both the sides and negotiations will take place, and if things are not sorted out by this DRC, then you can refer, or this case will be referred to this tribunal. Now some more details like how long this DRC will listen to this thing and that thing are there. There are a few questions as well, but this bill is at present in Lok Sabha. It has not been passed yet, so of course when in near future, when we will get some updates regarding it, then we will of course discuss about it in detail as well. It talks about this transparent data collection system. Of course, this is a good, or you can say innovative step. We haven't seen this sort of things earlier on, that we will collect data of different river basin, and we'll have some technical data, and we will keep this data bank, and whenever required, this data bank will be of course referred, and of course there will be updates as well, because the way things are going on around our country or the climate change, so you may find a sort of variation in the data. If we collect it in 2018, then this won't be that much valid in 2029 or 2028, so there will be periodic review and updates as well. And it also talks about this experts serving in central water. You will have some assessors, right? There are going to be some high-ranking chief engineers associated with Central Water Engineering Service. So I hope this technical side or the law side of things are clear to you now. Now let's see what we have got in current events pertaining to this particular river. Now one thing which is very interesting is that you have a word, I'm sure you have heard about this word, rival. Now rival, this word originates from this Latin word called rivalis. Rivalis is basically, it means someone using the same stream as another, associated with a river, right? Rivalis, and from rivalis you get rival. So what I'm trying to tell here is that people have always, right, fought over water. It is also believed that if God forbid we will ever have this World War III, then one of the main reasons behind this World War III is not going to be money, it is going to be water. So this is a very serious thing that we are talking about. Of course, as we move ahead a little bit, I will talk about, or of course now you know that rivers just constitute 0.0001% of all the water that we have, fresh water, or in fact not all the water, right, in all different forms, gas, solid and liquid. Rivers are just 0.0001%, and then you have pollution, and this sort of things are definitely going to take place. But the sad thing is that, right, the sad thing is that you have political parties, they are engaged in winning or making some brownie points out of this thing. Now Karnataka BJP chief B.S. Yedurappa had a meeting with CM of Goa in presence of this Amit Shah of BJP, who is the party chief, right? So they had a discussion with each other. They had a meeting basically back in 20th December 2017. Now Manohar Parrikar has written to Yedurappa saying that you can use, right, Goa will not oppose if Karnataka is using water for drinking purposes, for drinking needs. So this is the only thing on which Goa is happy to share, or when it comes to drinking water, then Goa has no problem at all. And then you have Chief Minister of Karnataka, and now we all know that he belongs to Congress party, so he is accusing the BJP's state unit of not doing enough to help bring water to North Karnataka. The thing is, here you see B.S. Yedurappa taking stand. He is from BJP. Here you see the Chief Minister is saying something else. But we have all these laws here. You know, things are going on for a very long period of time. It all started back in 1980s, and this is not the only river that is the case is going on for this long period of time. It is very sad that political parties, rather than finding solution, right, we see this sort of arguments going on between them. At present, right, 5 North Karnataka districts, due to this bandh, right, and particularly these farmers, right, they are at present asking for water, drinking water needs, and they have also asked this assembly elections to be cancelled that are going to take place in early 2018. They have asked this Chief Electoral Officer of Karnataka to not hold this assembly election until and unless this problem is sorted out. Now this is not going to happen, but this is going to be a big topic for their campaign, right? They will provide false promises and things like that, and I have some solutions. Of course, you may think that I'm being very blunt or being very aggressive, but I'm just stating the facts as they are. As youngsters, right, we have roughly 65% of our population is below the age of 35 years. Literacy rate has gone up. Most of us, right, most of us are connected with the world with the help of internet. We watch YouTube and we know many different things that our previous generation was not knowing about. I'll ask you one simple question. Rather than coming out on a street, I'm not saying that coming out on a street and protesting is bad, but rather than doing that, how about if we ask the government representatives and other people and bureaucrats and everyone, if we ask them to come and meet us at a place, right, it could be a big ground, cricket ground or something, and all stakeholders, right, very peacefully. There should be a sort of discussion week or a discussion month. People from both the states can take part in it, and then they can discuss the problems that they face, right, and political parties and all stakeholders, right? You can invite people from different states as well, and we can invite people from different parts of the world as well. If they have proved, or if they have some sort of solution, if they have sorted out this sort of disputes in their country, then we should ask them as well to take part in it. We should listen to them. These are the things that are going to solve the problem. I'm talking about new India. I'm talking about the new generations, right? I'm talking about the youngsters. We can take a stand here. And if you see the stand of Goa, now for Goa, this river is one of the few sweet water source, and of course we need sweet water for drinking purpose, for other domestic chores and things like that. Goa is also saying that out of this 11 rivers it has, or in total 13 or 12 whatever rivers Goa is having, it doesn't really matter. 11 rivers contain salt water, so they are of no use to Goa. And there are 2 rivers out of which you have this Mandovi river. One is Mandovi, on which people rely for their livelihood, fishing and other things, right? And they are saying that if you diversify the water, then eventually it is going to kill the state's mangrove and green belt, and it is going to disturb the relationship between people and land, and it is also going to create some sort of ecological imbalance. Karnataka is saying that this river is having surplus water. Different figures, I'm not sure how reliable these figures are, but let me put this one in front of you. Now Karnataka is saying the capacity of this river is somewhere around 250 TMC feet, right, 1000 million cubic feet. And it is saying that out of this 250, nearly 220 goes into Arabian Sea. So if we are just taking 7.56, then this is not going to impact that much. This is the stand of Karnataka. Karnataka is saying that we need this river's water because Karnataka is one of the most parched, or you can say dry area of our country. And one of the reason is that you see that Western Ghat which I show you at the starting of this lecture. Let me quickly show you again just to sort out the things, I don't want any sort of confusion here. So here is your Karnataka, Western Ghat, right? So what happens here is that the winds that are traveling from Indian Ocean or Arabian Sea, right, they carry moisture, and then they hit this mountains of Western Ghat, and they will throw all the rain over here. So how it basically looks like that this is your mountain here. This moisture laden winds will hit your mountain, and they will drop all the rain here, and when they will cross this mountain, they will have they would be empty basically. So they have the capacity to absorb whatever moisture that they can find. So they will in fact take away whatever moisture that you find in this part, right? Whatever moisture you find here, so that will be taken away. So this is one of the reason why you find the eastern part of Western Ghat. Let me repeat it again. Eastern part of Western Ghat is a sort of dry area. Most of the area over here is bit dry, so you find this sort of water issues going on in this part of our country. So this is the stand of Karnataka. It says that it requires water for drinking, irrigation, agriculture and power generation. Now Goa is saying that if you diversify the water, then what will happen is that they are going to store excess water, which is going to create problem for Goa, and this excess water will be used or will be transported rather than using it for water purpose, drinking purpose. They will use it for irrigation, and this is going to create problem for Goa. So this sort of things different. You can now, I'm sure we are clear with the stand of Goa as well as Karnataka. We have talked about technical things associated with laws and other things, how tribunals work. We have talked about ecological balance and Western Ghat and other things as well. Now, dear friends, there are some reports in the media. They say that because of lack of investment in this rain-fed catchment areas and things like that, we have not created that many dams in this part of our country. Because of that, you are finding this sort of problems. Now let's talk about the severity of this problem. See, first of all, there is no substitute of water in this world, isn't it? Fresh water has no substitute at all. And the way things are going on, right, the population, as per this Global Water Partnership, very important organization. If you want to put your point in your mains examination, then you can write Global Water Partnership says this. So this GWP, which is founded by this World Bank and United Nations Development Program, it provides us a few reasons why we are seeing this mismatch, or why we see this sort of issues going on. There is basically imbalance in demand and supply. The demand is too much, but the supply of water is bit down. Why the demand is there? Because of climate change, erratic rainfalls. Population is going up and up. Urbanization, for infrastructure, for domestic use, everything you need water, isn't it? So more people, more water is required. More population, of course, more water. For that, you have to produce more food as well. So more water will be used in your agriculture field. So in this way, and then we have this energy needs. So these are four major reasons provided by Global Water Partnership, right? So this is one of the reasons why we are seeing this mismatch. This equilibrium is, you can say, disturbed when it comes to demand and supply. Now, United Nations warns that in next 16 years, right, next 16 years, starting from 2017, this is the latest figure that I have from United Nations, that in next 16 years, the supply is going to outstrip, right, the demand basically is going to outstrip supply by 40%. Can you imagine? 40%, there will be a sort of mismatch in this demand and supply. The thing is that if you go through this Office of the Director of National Intelligence of USA has started, or in fact it has collected intelligence report from all across the world, and this is the thing that they have projected, that by 2025 there are going to be different categories of country when it comes to water. And you see the case of India here. India is going to be extremely stressed, or you can say exceptionally more stressed with water. They have, in fact, USA has started tweaking its policy. They are talking about this global water security. I told you about this World War III, isn't it? This is not something, a sort of myth or fictional thing that we are talking about. This is something that can happen in reality, and they have started tweaking their policies, like how their relationship will be, say for example with India after 2025 or during 2025, when this sort of scenario will be there, right? What are the things that we have to do with India and things like that, or other countries. So the world, or developed countries and countries like USA, they are talking about this global water security as well. And here what we see is that we are still, right, we are still, you can say, in this labyrinth, right? We haven't found a solution yet, but of course we are going to talk about solution. And the thing is that, as I told you, that most important thing is cooperation. It is better to listen to other people, what they have to say, rather than throwing stones at each other. And all this, right, all different parties, may it be different states or may it be different countries, in case of, say for example, India and Pakistan, or India and China, and India and Bangladesh, right? First of all, we have to learn how to cooperate with each other. This may sound a bit very childish, or it may sound a bit, you can say, very unconventional, but this is the reality. We are not cooperating with each other. You see, people of one country, right? At the end of the day, we are having, all of us are having Indian passport, isn't it? And then when it comes to water, then we have our own identity of Goa and Karnataka. So once we learn how to cooperate with each other, then we have to do all sort of things that are required to ensure that supply stays ahead of demand. We need to talk about where we get water from. The sad thing is that we are taking water as granted. We are not seeing it as a sort of natural resource that is limited, right? We are wasting water, just like water is going to be with us forever. We know about water cycle, but we are not considering this fact that if you are taking away too much of groundwater, right, then one day you are going to run out of it, because your erratic rainfall is not going to recharge your water table. And the sad thing about India is that the groundwater that India is using, right, is more than the total groundwater used by China and USA. Both these countries, right, we are talking about China, one of the most populated country and a bigger country than India. USA, again a bigger country than India. Together, China and USA are not using that much groundwater that India alone is using. You know it very well that I'm sure you might have seen this sort of things as well. And I feel so much pain when I see people washing their cars with fresh water. They are using these bore wells and submersible pumps and things like that, and they are just basically giving a nice shower to their cars and vehicles. In fact, many people that do wash their patio, or this tiles that they have in their garden, they wash it on regular basis. They don't understand that what they are using at present, or the way they are sucking away all the water that is there in the ground, right, one day their future generation, God forbid, I don't want to see anyone suffering because of water, but every single day there are many people, right, when I say many, I mean to say we are talking about people in lakhs and lakhs of people that don't have access to clean drinking water. But this sort of things we don't discuss on regular basis, right? We don't ask ourselves that what we do with the water that we are using. Rather than using fresh water, we can also use recycled water for washing our cars or for other things, isn't it? This is a very strange thing that even today in 21st century, when we have all these digital technologies and everything, we are talking about Mars and other things, but even today our fecal material, we get rid of our fecal material by flushing fresh water, right? Fresh water we are using for our washroom. Seawater and other waste water, we can easily recycle it, but we are not doing that. And instead, right, these political parties and people in government, I'm not blaming everyone, right? Not everyone is wrong, but there are a few parties, there are a few people in different parties, they are making the most out of it. They are looking for some political points that they can win out of this situation, which is very sad, right? Which is very sad. And if you see the global average water use, then 1/5, or you can say roughly 20%, is used for household purpose. This may include offices as well. 10% is used for our energy production and other thing, but 68% is used by agriculture. So this is the problem here. If we are using 70% of fresh water in agriculture, then we have to change the way we are doing things, right? We have to change our farming methods. We have to bring new policies when it comes to groundwater. We have to have these meters on this groundwater, that you cannot take as much as water that you like at present. This is the thing that is going on in our country. And the good news is that the solutions that we are talking about, right, water management solutions are already out there. All we have to do is implement them. We have to learn them and just implement them. That's the only thing. Copy paste. If you have to do a little bit of customization here and there, then that's fine, but this is the only thing that we have to do. And the best country in the world when it comes to water management is no doubt Israel. Recently, Prime Minister of Israel was in India, right, and see the difference between Israel and India. If you go back to the history of Israel, then you find that you know how persecution took place on Jewish people and things like that. So basically, people from different parts of the world, Jews from different parts of the world, they were heading towards Israel. So Israel was knowing that water is the only thing that is going to be a big problem for its survival. And it's not at present. We think that Israel has this sort of technology, Israel has that, But the thing is, why do they have all these technologies? Because of their culture, right? Because of their attitude towards water management, right? They take water very seriously, right? This is the reason why they have these technologies. So this is the thing, because of their attitude, because the way they take water, or the way they see water as a premium resource. And this is the reason why they started thinking about it. They started brainstorming about water conservation and water management. And because of that, they designed or came out with these new technologies that we see, and we feel very impressed when we go through the details or regarding water management and Israel. And in our country, we have altogether different scenario. People are ready to bite each other. They are ready to throw stones at each other. And you tell me, right, I'm throwing this question to you as well, that what is going to work? Whether coming out on street is something that is going to work, calling buns, is this sort of things are going to work? Or as a young nation, right, we should change the way we are looking at water, our attitude towards water. I think we need a sort of 180-degree change when it comes to water management. The person that you can see on your screen, sadly, the world is not knowing that much about this person. His name is Simcha Blas. He's the one who invented this thing called drip irrigation. Now, I'm not going into the details of drip irrigation. I'm sure you all know what is it all about. Very briefly, basically you supply a drop of water directly nearby the root of the plant, rather than flooding that plant or your field with water. And what this person discovered, there is a story as well. Back in 1930s, he observed this thing that in a field there was a tall tree, and there were other trees that were short in comparison to this tall tree. And this person has been working in this water sector for a very long period. He used to work for this water sector for a very long period of time. So back in 1930, he observed this thing, and what he saw was there was a sort of a leakage in the pipe, and because of this thing, so this was a thing that was there in his mind. And back in 1956, when he retired, he started working on this thing, and then he came out with this drip irrigation project. And then the world came to know that a tiny amount of water in the right place could make a plant grow a lot bigger and faster, right? Bigger and faster than a large amount thrown at it by rain or floods or sprinklers. Here we go. The problem is answered, isn't it? 68% of water we are using, and we see this problem because farmers, right, they are demanding water, because we are still using this flood method, right? We won't until and unless we don't see our field submerged in water, we think that we don't have enough water for our field. And I must say, right, that if Norman Barlow, who is known as the father of green revolution of the world, if he has got Nobel Prize for this miracle wheat, then definitely Simcha Blas should be given or bestowed with a sort of Nobel Prize, or all the best prize that we have, because if we apply his method in farming, then we can avert the big loss or the big destruction that we are going to see in future. And basically the sum of, or you can say, if you ask me, the gist of all different research that have taken place, they come to this conclusion, or you can safely say that water efficiency, when you apply this drip irrigation, then your crop yield will go up as well, water efficiency will increase, and altogether you will save on an average 70% of water on any given crop, right? And when we talk about pollution of water, then at present in USA as well, the biggest source of pollution in USA is not the chemical in the air, right? They say that it's runoff from farms contaminating the water supply. What happens is you are using this modern pesticides and fertilizers and other things, and when you use this flood method or sprinklers, then this will seep into your water table, and finally you are going to face these diseases and things like that. Anyways, dear friends, I think we have discussed many things about it. Now you know the solution. The problem lies with our farming method, and the solution is drip irrigation, and there are many things that we can learn from Israel. At present they are working on this thing, and they have got success in this thing as well, that rather than having too many leaves on tomato plants, we can basically you can say, edit their genes, and we can have tomato plants that are having very few leaves. With this we can save water. They are talking about this thing that rather than providing water deeper level, right, it is better to provide on a bit closer to surface, so the roots of the plants, they don't become too, or they are not penetrating too deep in the soil, right? So in this way they are not only using or cutting down water or supply of water, they are also working on the plants as well. They are also working on this thing that if we can produce more tasty, nutritious fruits and vegetables, then people will consume less non-veg items, because non-vegetarian food cooking and then other processes, and the animal as well will consume water. So you don't have to produce that many animals. So in this way we can cut down water usage. See their attitude, right? There are so many things that we have to learn from them, and they use this robots to clean their sewages and other things if there is any sort of blockage or things like that. I'm sure you know about this car. It is known as Gal Mobile, right? This car is gifted at present. It is in India, right? Prime Minister of Israel gifted this car to our Prime Minister or our country. And we can produce many cars if we understand how it works, isn't it? And it is very simple, and it reminds me of a story as well. The last thing that I would like to discuss with you guys is that samurai sword was considered the best weapon in the world by Japanese people. But when Portuguese visited Japan, and when they presented this gun to them, then at that point of time they realized that samurai is not the best in the world when it comes to war and other things. So what Japan did basically, right, they produced another model of this thing. They replicated this gun and they made a similar one in 6 months, and later on they produced a gun that was bit better than the Portuguese version. We can do the same thing with this thing, and we can do the same thing with drip irrigation as well. We are a young nation and we can do it, but first of all we have to calm down and understand, or we have to go to the root of this problem. I would be very grateful if you can share this information with the people and farmers of Karnataka and other places as well, right? Just in case if this thing may ignite a fire in them. Let's hope and let's work together so that we can sort out this problem of water crisis. With this, dear friends, I end this discussion. Do let me know about your take on this thing. I would be very eager to hear from you too. Jai Hind. Goodbye for now.